Hello everybody, what's up? It's Jack here, back with another video. Could not be more excited for this one. This is going to be about the NBA trade deadline. I apologize for being a little late on this content. As the trade deadline I think was Thursday maybe, and it's now Monday. I'm getting this out, but I've been pretty busy this weekend. Also, banging out some articles that I'm publishing on my Medium blog. So I'm gonna throw that link actually in the chat. But regardless, let's get right into the video. Let's talk about the trade deadline. I'm just gonna talk about some big moves that happened, my opinions on them. So yeah, let's get right into it. So obviously, the biggest trade, in my opinion, I think, of the day is the Sixers landing James Harden for Ben Simmons. So here's what I think about the trade. At first, I thought it was really bad for the Sixers. They're giving up two really good role players in Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. Drummond is a great backup center. He's a decent starting center. Like, he's still a good player. And then Seth Curry can shoot threes, great offensive weapon, someone you just want on your team for a playoff run. His defense obviously isn't great, and that's one of the reasons the Mavericks got rid of him, but still really valuable player. They're giving up 2 first-round picks, but that's really, not that significant when you look at it in the long run. These picks are going to be really high. The 2022 pick is going to be pretty high. I'm not sure about this 2027 pick. It's kind of weird. It's from 2027, so who knows about that one. But regardless, that 2 first-round picks is significant. And then, of course, they're getting Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons is a good fit for this Nets team. That's my opinion. A lot of people will disagree with me. I think he can only really be effective when he's the third best player and he distributes to Irving, Durant, because in the end he's not going to be able to take those big shots or have the confidence to take them deep into playoff run, which is why I think he's going to be good on this team. Is he's not going to be thought upon to be taking those shots and making those big game late moves. That's not going to be on him, which I really like. And then, of course, he does all the little things good. He plays great defense, rebounding. He's huge for a point guard, absolutely huge. Rebounds, assists, all that good stuff, defense. So that's really going to help them. I like this trade in the end for both teams. One, because the Nets don't have a very good roster outside of Durant and Irving and Harden. But now they're getting 2 good role players, Ben Simmons, which is going to help them late in the playoffs just to have some depth. And then the Sixers, look, their window is kind of short. You don't know how long, Embiid could get hurt. They're just making their finals run, right? It's about time that they put their foot down and say, hey, let's win a championship. We think we're the best team in the East, because the East is theoretically wide open. I think the Bucks are still the best team in the East. Bulls are pretty good. I'm not scared of Miami, in my opinion. But the Sixers think they're the best team in the East. It's kind of a cluttered mess right now, and I respect it. Like, hey, go all out, make your run. That's what they're doing. And look, yeah, like, they're going to be paying Harden $52 million, I think, in like 2 years or something. Like, his contract sucks, but it's James Harden. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best scorers in NBA history, I think. He does whine and moan a bit, but you're pairing Embiid with, a dynamic scorer, one of the best scorers in NBA history, and I love that. So that's my opinion. I think it's a good deal for both sides. It's going to hurt Philly in the long run. You probably have Harden being like really good for 2 more, maybe 3 years. And then they're going to be screwed because like they'll have his contract. It might be up by then, but like, they don't have that first round pick. Embiid's going to be aging. That Harris contract's going to suck. Like, they're gonna be in a deep hole, but they're trying to win a finals, so that's what you got to do, man. So that's my opinion on it. Next up, the absolutely crazy trade. I was sitting in class when I got the notification for it. I couldn't believe it. I fell out of my seat. The Kings traded Tyrese Haliburton, Buddy Hield, and somebody else. I don't know who it is. Not a significant player, for Sabonis and Jeremy Lamb. Absolutely crazy trade. I really don't like this trade for the Kings. That's my main opinion. First, you have a guy like Haliburton who wants to stay in Sacramento, right? He wants to play there. He's invested. He seemed to care a lot, and I'm sorry, but like that's something that you should value, because that's not the case with every player. Again, this is kind of rude, but like Sacramento's not a very good franchise. People don't want to play there. You have a superstar, in progress, who wants to play there, who's committed. Second off, you're a rebuilder, right? This is a team that's rebuilding. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. And Haliburton is their best player. I think he's better than De'Aaron Fox, and it makes no sense for a rebuilder to trade your best player who's 21 years old. I get it, Sabonis is 25. You need a center, but that's just not smart. Second off, guards are more valuable than centers. It's a lot harder to find a guy like Haliburton who can shoot threes, good ball handler, plays good defense, can also be a second best player and be effective, even a third best player and be really effective. He's just a rare breed. Sabonis is a good player, obviously, great player. He can shoot threes, he's got point guard skills for a big man, and he's a very solid rim protector. But Haliburton's more valuable and more elite of a talent. And then you have the Buddy Hield aspect. Buddy Hield is making $20 million next year, and then like 24 the year after that. So I guess they kind of dumped him. He hasn't been great this season, so I'm not really going to comment on that, but I just think it was interesting he was a part of the trade. But regardless, in the end, I don't like the trade very much at all. You just can't. You're a rebuilder. You can't trade a guy like Haliburton. When you're a rebuilder, that's just unacceptable. So I didn't like that at all. That's my opinion on it. I think Sabonis is a good player, but Sacramento really made a mistake here. And I think Haliburton's going to be a superstar in a few years, so good for Indiana. Next trade involves my team, the Wizards. They're getting Kristaps Porzingis and a 2022 second-round pick for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. Really interesting trade here. I don't get it at all from the Mavericks. Being a Wizards fan, watching Dinwiddie, watching Bertans. Bertans is awful. He has the worst contract in the league. If he's not a 40% three-point shooter, he is absolutely worthless to have on your team because of his contract. This year he's like 32% from three. He's 6'9" or 6'10", which everyone loves to point out, but he can't play defense at all. He's not a power forward. He can't rebound. He's just really like the only thing he can do is shoot from three, and he hasn't been shooting well from three. So like just worthless. And then Dinwiddie started out playing really well at the beginning of the year, and I really liked him. Then he got hurt for a bit, and then he came back and was awful. He had this game against the Bucks where first half he had like no points. He was playing really bad without Bradley Beal, and I think there was also some internal chemistry issues there. His teammates didn't really like him. So I'm not high on Bertans or Dinwiddie at all. I know Porzingis is old. I know he gets hurt. It's a weird trade in my opinion. I think the Wizards win it, but like Porzingis is kind of how do I put this? He's has a bad contract. He's getting older. He gets injured a lot. He's had a good season this year though, and I think people do need to appreciate that. But it is a bit of a weird deal. I think the Wizards are dumping two not very good contracts. One sucks. Dinwiddie's could turn out, I guess, to be better, but they're dumping some salary. Hopefully they re-sign. My plan for them is hopefully they re-sign Beal, maybe even sit out Porzingis for the rest of the season. Then you get top 10 pick, hopefully a pretty good player. Got to get a point guard in free agency. Then you have your lineup. You got Beal, hopefully a point guard, Kuzma, Bertans. Wait, did I say so? Beal, point guard, Kuzma, Porzingis, Thomas Bryant, I guess. You got Hachimura off the bench, and KCP. So, there you go. That's a decent lineup there. But not sure what the future is for the Wizards. Next up, we want to talk about a few Celtics trades. Celtics got Derek White. I'm huge on him. I talk about him all the time on this podcast. Love him for the Spurs. So happy the Celtics got him for a point guard. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. Great fantasy player. And you know why? Because he does everything good. Gets a lot of steals, points, assists. Just a really, really efficient player, which I loved. Really happy we got rid of Romeo Lankford. Can't stand watching him play. I think he sucks. Josh Richardson's a decent player, but didn't really have a role on the Celtics team. He's kind of just like a worse version of Brown and Tatum, in my opinion. He's kind of a shooter who doesn't play very good defense. Not too high on him. They do trade their first round pick, which could bite them. If they don't wind up making the playoffs, they slip, it could become a lottery pick, and that really screws them over. And then there's a 2028 first round pick swap, so that'll probably work out for the Celtics, but I'm not sure. So love this trade for the C's. I think White gives them a true point guard, which is just awesome. And that's something that they really need. And if it doesn't work out this year, I think they need another rim protector and potentially look into moving Tatum or Brown, and kind of switching things up, maybe bringing in Bradley Beal. We'll see. They also got Daniel Tice, so I guess they have two forwards now who are pretty solid, 2 5s. They've got Robert Williams and Daniel Tice, so you have a backup center. Williams gets hurt a lot too, so they're kind of ready for a playoff run, which I like. They gave up Dennis Schroeder, Enes Kanter, Enes Freedom, and Bruno Fernando. Weird trade for the Rockets. I don't know why they got Dennis Schroeder. Just kind of a weird deal in general. They cut Enes Freedom. I don't know, kind of weird, but good for the Celtics. They got a number 2 center, which they definitely needed. Next up, we've got a crazy trade between the Bucks, Kings, and Pistons. Bucks got Serge Ibaka, which I think is big for them. Another forward that can come off the bench. Maybe he starts even over Bobby Portis. But Serge Ibaka has been a part of so many playoff teams, playoff runs. He's just a great, valuable player to have, and someone they'll really benefit from having it on their team in the playoffs. Clippers didn't really get anything, just a bunch of kind of old, aging players. Kings got DiVincenzo. They got Josh Jackson, and Trey Lyles. So DiVincenzo will be interesting to see him play on them. Decent scorer, can shoot. I'm interested to see how he plays on the Kings, honestly. Josh Jackson was good in 2020. Not so much this year. Numbers really aren't there. But could maybe do something for this Kings team. I don't know. Then Trey Lyles is kind of an average forward. Pistons got Marvin Bagley. Obviously, didn't have a great tenure in Sacramento. But maybe he can turn it around. He's also a free agent next year. I forgot to say another huge trade. The Blazers have acquired CJ McCollum. Sorry, the Pelicans have dealt. Blazers have dealt CJ McCollum to the Pelicans. I thought this was an interesting deal. And then this is the last one I'm going to talk about. Uh, you know, I think it's interesting that the Pelicans are going to try and make the playoffs this year. CJ is aging. He's 33. He doesn't have a great contract. He's getting paid a lot of money, but he's a really good scorer, and I think that needs to be recognized. I'm happy they didn't trade BI. I'm happy they're investing in Brandon Ingram, and keeping him. And then I guess they're banking on Zion that maybe he'll come back this season or the season after that, and they'll have the three of them. They still don't really have a legit point guard. I guess Devontae Graham, but that's really not going to get it done. I like what the Blazers got. They got a first-round pick. They got Josh Hart, who's a solid young player. I love Nikhil Alexander-Walker. They did trade him for some reason, but Josh Hart's a good acquisition. And then they got 2 second-round picks and a first-rounder, so pretty solid. Pelicans also got Larry Nance and Tony Snell, so 2 okay role players. This trade is kind of affected on what Zion does. If he comes back and he is playing really well, they've got 3 really good players, more or less scorers, that could help them in the playoffs. Is their roster complete? No, I don't think so. Just because they need a point guard, but maybe CJ could even be their point guard. I know he's traditionally a shooting guard, but he could definitely play the point guard position, fully capable of it. So I'm interested to see how the Pelicans play moving forward because Mccomb is just a fun player to watch. Anytime he's added to a team, provides a lot of scoring and just makes a team better. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting trade. Blazers are also getting younger, trying to build around Dame, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on there, but regardless, that's going to be that. Blazers also traded Norman Powell and Robert Covington to the Clippers, so that's an interesting one. I guess the Clippers want Powell for next year when they'll have George, Powell, Leonard, Robert Covington too. Gave up Eric Bledsoe. Blazers did it for salary, I think. So I guess I like that. Norman Powell's a decent player. And that's really it. That's all I'm going to talk about. But I appreciate you guys watching this. Pretty long. Sorry I'm talking in kind of a quiet voice. It's kind of late at night in my residence hall, so don't want to wake anyone up. But appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for my articles and everything. And I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.